Yeah, session 45. Welcome everybody. And we'll start with a Java recap as usual.
Well, my recap is for session 34, but um, after a tiresome night, Java shuffles out of bed and ponders his life choices. Reality sets in, and the bugs in his stomach, compounded with the weight of the realization of what he's done, uh, led him to realize that he couldn't take it anymore. So he clasped his hand over his mouth, ran for the bathroom, occupied by Cade in a similar situation, continued his trek to the kitchenette, and puked his soul out. The only thing on his mind at this point was to rinse his mouth out, and so he did, using the very hose that Brother Nick has come to love to spray and pray them with vigorously from time to time.
Mhm.
Uh, Turns out that hose, it burned, and it burned good, which makes sense because now Nick tells us that he's been adding chemicals to it. They're relatively safe since he didn't swallow them, so after he finished puking his brains out, uh, he shared a breakfast with the crew and uh, realized that Nara can supposedly eat anything. Challenged her to eat a roll of toilet paper topped in hot sauce, of course, to which she obliged. Uh, and after that wasn't cool anymore, he stopped to ask Cade if his computer would work yet and if he'd found anything out. He said he didn't and that he would need, quote, interdimensional cables to make that happen. So Java's decided that he's going to find those for him on Space Bay. Eventually, Tom arrived, uh, and he wanted us to talk with Cora. And after talking for a while about the wolves and the ways they were acting weird, uh, finally they got permission to settle Boris in his bunker on the planet before leaving to help the resistance. But before they would do that, they would traverse across this irradiated planet again uh, to go back to the city and see what else they could find.
All right. Yeah, that space bay will be quite the bountiful source of interdimensional cables and just about anything else you could imagine.
Are they gonna be cheap knockoffs? Because I really hope that we
Mm,
accidentally order some cheap knockoffs.
guess we'll have to see.
We didn't
Have to
get the
see
name
how
brand interdimensional cable.
have to see how
No,
good
it has
Nero is.
interference.
Or it's a gag gift like the coffee pot in the shower head box and Java doesn't realize it,
And Nero doesn't realize it.
and they order
Roll,
it.
Hmm.
roll for distractions.
Roll for internet literacy, I guess. But yeah, meanwhile, you guys are gonna. We decided to go ahead and make another trip back to the city, possibly the tower. Um, this time you're bringing Tom along, and we just left on the note of getting stuff kind of packed up again on the rover. Oh yeah, there was some there's some discussion of stuffing the
Oh,
spare
why
rad
did you
suit.
remind us?
Java
Yeah, we
Java did
filled
that.
the
He did
spare
that.
rad suit with any stuff we wouldn't want irradiated.
Snacks mainly, which is just ridiculous.
Mhm.
I
Also
mean,
some of
Nero's
the
not going to
rad medicine,
complain.
I
I
think.
am.
Yeah, the
There's
food
a
and water.
telescoping pole in there.
Well, that's how you keep it up, right?
Yeah, gotta
And I
have.
guess
Giant
everything
puppet
that
suit.
Java saw fit to add in.
Yeah, there were. I forgot about that. Yeah, there was significant packing and unpacking and repacking being done. I kind of imagine it being like one of those Three Stooges kind of montage situations. Uh, uh, Java packing the suit, and then Brother Nick coming behind him and unpacking it and putting something else in, and then Java coming back and being confused, like, "Wait, where'd that stuff go?" and trying to pack it again.
I mean, he's put water in there, some clothes, snacks, his telescoping pole, probably a backpack, and just some random things. But try to make it look generally like the suit is occupied.
So yeah, you guys load it all up, have the suit strapped to the back of the slingshot, and it's loaded up, ready to go. Uh, Boris and Victor and Ahmed have all they're all peering out of the airlock, giving you a little send off as you drive off towards the city once more. And follows is another pretty uneventful little trip. I believe Cade is I assume Cade is using the Hello Neighbor to
Oh yeah,
scope out the way ahead.
absolutely.
All right. So yeah, you bounce along across the wild landscape, and after a few packed hours in the little rover, you come within drone scouting range of first the tower before you get to the city. And Cade notices a blue glow coming from the sinkhole in which the tower resides.
I'm
Uh-oh.
trying to remember out of character. Is that similar to when we approached the first time?
It is, yeah. Except
Hmm,
this time the light is just remaining on. Before you saw a flash, but yeah, same kind of light.
gotcha. In that case, Cade will, I guess since they're in the ATV headed that direction, Cade will probably tap Saoirse on the shoulder, say, "Boss, the tower left a light on for us. I guess we're expected this time."
They did what?
He points at the blue glow on his screen and says, "Last time we were coming this way, this was kind of reacting to us instead. If you remember, caught sight of the drone or something else, and it would light up. It's just on now."
She sighs really heavily. All right, well, I guess they left the light on for us, so he'll pop in and see how they're doing.
We drive into the tower.
Yeah, so you guys can do as you did before. Can park in the little meadow by the waterfall. uh, some little ways downstream from the tower. Can, with the help of your climbing harnesses, without much trouble, you can climb up alongside the waterfall, enter the tunnel that will eventually lead you to the cavern with the tower in it. And as you're unloading and going to going up the waterfall, uh, you notice there are more little bugs uh, buzzing around the water, and gnats and such things buzzing around you also. Uh, whereas before there had been a noticeable lack of any sort of little bugs.
Interesting. I think you'd also said something about ash piles last time.
Ash piles.
Maybe I'm imagining that.
Maybe not ash piles specific, but there was the idea that there was a bunch of rubble everywhere.
Yeah, in
At
the
the
city.
tower?
Which, um, yeah, so I think what you might be conflating is the description of the ruined city, which is, you know, about 20 kilometers away from where you are right now. It's
Yeah,
further
that's where the rubble was.
along.
For some reason I thought I remembered something about ash in the cave area with the tower. Maybe it was just somebody joking around about us finding the wolves.
Yeah, it might have been.
Okay. Well, is there any do these bugs being here seem fairly normal?
Yeah, so it feels more like what Nero would expect being around a river. Um, but yeah, the fact that it wasn't that way before now stands out more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Okay.
And I I imagine Nero would be the one to notice it the most since she's suitless.
Yep. Probably. He waves away at the bugs. Ugh. Are these what I was eating?
I think so. It's not what I meant by protein. That helps.
Well, stepping stones are this way. Does the door to the tower look like it's already open?
It is not.
Okay.
But yeah, as you approach, you can see what you remembered before, seeing kind of a localized glow coming off of parts of the tower where your own drones approached. This time there's a ring of light around the tower, and it looks like occasionally it changes its pattern to make some sorts of symbols, but Brother Nick and Kay don't recognize it as the script of the language they've been learning from the tower before.
Well, we came here to see the wizard to go to the tower, so
Yeah.
Nara will
Any objections to approaching?
step across the yellow brick dang. What are they called? Not stones.
Stepping stones.
Stepping stones, yeah.
All right, so Narrow crosses on, and once she gets about halfway across, the tower makes some sort of like a little dinging sound, and drone comes buzzing down from the top, flies down in front of Narrow, and projects. Welcome, Narrow. I see you saw my light, and the others.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes.
Would you like to come in again and enjoy my hospitality?
Do you have better snacks?
Hmm. It goes silent for a few moments. Perhaps we could arrange some better snacks.
Brother Nick will wave his data slab. I did bring some cookbooks this time. It may help with better conveying our preferences in food.
Um,
Yes,
the drone
sausages and bacon and pancakes.
replies, "Ah, that will be very informative."
And can you put candy
And
on them?
Patricia snorts.
do you mean my candy or a different candy?
Like frosting.
It turns in the air in front of you and uh, buzzes at a little different pitch. Frosting. Is it in your cookbook, Brother Nick?
He'll flip through some pages and say, well, it might not be quite what Nero had in mind, but there are some recipes for frosting.
Why are you letting Nero lead this conversation, guys?
Say, but yeah, I guess Derek say, aside from sharing recipes, we were wondering if we'd be able to ask you some more questions. Perhaps
Why,
get
of
to know
course.
you a little better.
I would be happy for you to get to know me better. Ask me questions.
Question: is it reacting to Tominol?
It hasn't yet, no.
Okay. Is Tom reacting to it?
Tom was you guys filled him in, I'm assuming, on basically everything, so he wouldn't have any surprises. Um, so no, he hasn't reacted strongly to it.
Okay.
He's just been tagging along, keeping quiet. So the drone leads you all back towards the tower. The doors open in front of you in time, and you can all start filing in.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should make introductions. We also brought along another friend to come talk with you. His name is Tom. And Brother Nick will, motion to Tom there for the
It
drone.
makes a somewhat startled noise and then goes and buzzes over, kind of does a 360 around him at a respectful distance, but clearly inspecting him carefully. Um, my, I was distracted. Uh, your friend Tom here is different from you.
Yes, he is of a race called the Gakari in Mandate Common. He has been adventuring with us for some time.
Makes kind of a sort of a garbled electronic sounding noise that sounds sort of like choking, and then says, "Ah, well, very good to know. Your friend Tom is welcome."
Nara will step in if nobody else already has, and she'll look around, just kind of casually making sure that there's no robot ninjas ready to jump out at us.
Give me a notice check.
Yes,
Woohoo!
so would Nick or Brother Nick have noticed that sputtering?
Yeah,
Say, that's a stronger reaction than you had to meeting us. Or is the idea of non-human sentient life new to you? Perhaps you already knew something about the Gakari?
the drone is silent for a minute as it starts to buzz on over the rest of you into the tower. Then it turns and says, "No, of course, Tom is welcome. There's no problem. Just a different life form than the rest of you. Excuse
Hmm.
my jitters. I'm still getting used to having company."
Can I tell if the drone is lying?
Hmm. It was definitely like there was a noticeable pause, a delay in its response, and a fairly evasive answer. But I don't know that Brother Nick could tell something like that. How much experience does he have with VIs or AIs or the like?
Thinking it would be little to none, I guess, unless they're common and
Mm. They're not, um, especially not kind of socially interacting ones. Um, so yeah, Brother Nick would be unsure. Judging by, general metrics, he could definitely say it was. It took a moment to think before it responded, but that's about all he could conclude for sure. Nero does not notice any robot ninjas or anything else lurking in the room, waiting to jump out at them.
Alright.
Um,
Slight disappointment, but also relief.
yeah. Um, what she does see though is a a series of chairs along one side of the wall that are all of varying sizes and actually have little nameplates over the headrests.
Mm.
and the other side of the wall is configured in that climbing wall like it had been before they'd left last time.
Nice.
There's also there's a low table that's set up uh, off to one side of the chairs, but with kind of some stools put up around it, but nothing on the table yet. Let's see, we still got everybody? Yeah, we
What do
got
the
everybody.
nameplates say?
The nameplates have each of your names across the top, all except for Tom.
And you said those were above the beds and the chairs?
There are only chairs this time. There
Oh.
are exactly 5 of them, and
Java sits in Narrow's chair.
As if Narrow's gonna sit in it.
um, the drone has kind of been buzzing around, just kind of watching all of you. And as as Java does that, comes over and says, "Java, no, I assume you can read. This is Nero's chair."
I don't want to sit down.
I'm in charge. This is my chair now.
This poor drone.
The drone just turns to look at Saoirse and at
He's
Nero.
just gonna laugh.
It kind of does a circuit looking at everyone, and then just buzzes off over to the table and sits down on the table. Fair enough. Make yourselves at home, but please try not to spill anything.
You got drinks?
Oh, no,
It's misleading.
I just mean in general. I could make drinks.
What do you
Brother
got?
Nick, do you have drink recipes?
Oh,
Or I
let's see. There
I
are a
oh.
few in the book. I wouldn't want to put you out. Think you have to clean up like last time. You seemed quite thorough as you were issuing or ushering
Hmm.
us out.
Don't worry, I'll clean again, but spills will just make it take longer. That is all. uh,
Can you make coffee?
hmm. Let's see. Coffee probably would have been mentioned before or brought up, but would say, I am not sure how to make coffee, but it is a stimulating drink, yes?
Mildly stimulating, Cade will interject. It is not alcohol, which is strong and can cause cognitive problems.
But mild stimulants that I can
I
make.
feel like Cade's enough of a nerd that he remembers the formula for caffeine, and he says, in addition to the flavor it contains, and then just like spit out the chemical formula of the caffeine molecule.
Okay, nice. Alrighty then.
Yeah, I guess
is-
Brother Nick would offer, say, I think we may have packed some in our with our food supplies we bought for the journey. Are
I
you
want
able
to see
to
what you-
process any samples?
Of course, yes. Samples will be very helpful. And it
Uh,
I just want to see what he can make. Don't give him samples.
Java, that could be poisonous.
Or yeah, give him samples.
So I guess we could offer the tower opportunity to test its abilities, with its consent, of course. If it would like to compare its ability to make coffee based on what it's learned from us so far with a replication from a sample.
Hmm. I believe a sample would be wise. The candy was mixed results. Uh, it had kind of gotten stuck, like kind of jerking back and forth, getting ready to like take a sample and then backing off and then trying to figure out what was going on. And now it smooths out and hovers down towards whoever was reaching in a pack and extends down a little.
Oh, I think
little
that's in the
tray.
suit. He'll say, of course, yes, a sample would probably be easiest. So allow me to go retrieve it.
I'll go get it.
ARPA. Yeah, I'll let Nero run grab the
Yeah.
rad suit backpack.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
already getting a little bit antsy.
While she's
Yeah.
doing that, Java's gonna pull up his chair and put his feet in his chair, but still sit in Nara's chair.
Yeah, so the doors will open to let Nero run off.
Okay.
And she makes sure to bring her climbing harness with her, I assume.
Yeah.
Um, as Java goes to tug on his chair, first it doesn't budge, but then as he pulls on it a little more, it kind of comes loose from the floor and then glides over pretty easily. And he can situate it as he pleases.
Brother Nick will smack his feet down. Java, were you raised in a barn?
I don't know. I have to keep telling you.
The drone asks, "Do humans commonly keep their young with the livestock?"
Nick will say. It's an idiom that humans use for unhospitable behavior.
Hmm, understandable. I'm
Java
curious
puts
about
his
this
feet down.
human etiquette. Um,
Well, I could lay out some, though the finer points we'd probably want more books for that as well.
yes, please have a seat. We can continue from our last visit.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll take a seat in his labeled seat.
Alrighty. Let's see. So, Narrow, give me an exert check for Narrow. I think with a +1 attached to it.
All right. Is the +1 for the climbing harness?
Yes.
Does she need the climbing harness?
She doesn't need it, but
How
it
far?
is it's some wet rock that she's gonna be
Hmm,
climbing down.
okay. Oh,
Okay. Yeah, she's able to use the harness very well all by herself and safely descend retrieve the coffee sample and then send again. I assume she knows what coffee is, so no need to worry about that.
She's bringing the unholy pact horror.
Oh, is she bringing the whole suit?
Just
Yes.
dragging the red suit.
Hmm. Okay, well then in that case, give me another exert check. This time
You
with
want this
strength.
one with strength?
Yeah.
I figured. What?
Wow.
Well, that's yep.
Borderline max roll. All right, so she
That's terrifying.
gets
Don't ever
herself
try and
strapped
wrestle her.
back up. And, yeah, she's practiced climbing quite a lot and knows how to use these harnesses to secure basically personal cargo, and yeah, manages to haul herself and the suit up the side of the waterfall.
She is trying
And
to speed run this, by the way.
yeah, soon she is jogging along with the suit strapped to her back down the tunnel alongside the little river. Yeah, meanwhile, back in the tower, um, the drone has been trying to make you all comfortable, get everyone seated, and seems to want to start picking Brothernick's brain about the recipes so that it can try to prepare some better refreshments for you all.
He'll flip around, through the recipes. Say, Nero's back now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it said, I think Nero had asked about pancakes and bacon. I do have a recipe for that here.
And sausages.
And sausages. Those would probably be better served with samples. There's not as much cooking to be done for them.
And icing. Frosting.
And frosting. He'll, I guess, proceed to read out the recipes for all of them.
Audibly groan. You don't have all day for this.
I didn't eat breakfast. She's lying. She totally ate breakfast.
Yeah, Sarah should know she ate for She's gonna glare her.
Yeah.
So some niceties can't hurt. But, sharing a meal helps cement new friendships.
This drone is talented if it can eat breakfast. That's an impressive feature.
All right, yeah, so it gets you hooked up as before, and listens attentively, expressing its attention through the drone as usual, and listens to the recipe. Then it says, it asks for some clarification on a few of the ingredients.
That's what I was thinking. Bump into literally every ingredient. What is flour?
So several of those. Let's see. Who would be the resident? I guess baking ingredient expert, if there is one.
Ice Cade could pitch in on more chemistry, I'm guessing.
I think
For-
the cooking expert though would be Sirsha.
Saoirse has little to no patience for the idea of explaining cooking and baking to this drone.
True.
She will actually offer a deal to the drone
Okay.
that she will bring her back an audiobook of a cookbook explaining how to cook in very basic principles. If the drone can answer some questions that they have.
An interesting deal. Let me think about that. And then a couple seconds later, let's see what questions you have and if I can answer them. I would very much like cookbook for human food.
Means lovely. And then she's gonna motion towards Brother Nick and Cade.
It is it has taken the sample from Narrow, by the way, and the sample of coffee. I guess this is like basically coffee powder, um, instant coffee type stuff. So
Oh no. I know that episode, Ethan.
so the tower then I guess you said Saoirse was gesturing to Brother Nick and Cade, indicating one of them should ask a question.
That seemed the intent.
Oh, okay. What were our questions from last time?
Oh.
I guess I'll start with an easier one. Say, well, we were curious about the city nearby. We had noticed it in our explorations, and we're hoping to learn a little more about it. If anyone remains there, uh, who had built it, what had happened to it.
Hmm. It looks over to Saoirse. So, how many questions should I answer for our deal?
What recipes did you want?
Hmm.
Tell it one per recipe. I guess it gets one for the how, or you can haggle about how many for the how-to guide.
I was about
Yeah,
to say,
that's about what I was planning.
let us say 4 questions for the audio cookbook.
Make it 5.
Look at Nick and Cade. How many questions
Hmm.
did we have?
That had better be one very good cookbook. Very well. So, Brother Nick, let us see. 2 questions? Are there
Oh, she's counting what I asked for 2 questions. Wow.
um, or would you like to rephrase that?
I think I snuck in 3 questions, so I'll take it as 2.
Yeah, I was trying to remember off the top of my head what all you'd asked. Let's see, if there was anyone left
Yeah, current residents, who
and
built
what
the
had
city,
happened to it.
what happened to it.
Oh, who built the city? Oh, okay, that's what I thought you were asking. Was there anyone left who had built the city, and also, what happened to it? So 3 questions, got you.
Yeah, I
Um,
figure current residents might not be the builders.
okay. So yeah, then in that case, it would have definitely interpreted that as 3 questions. Um,
Well, that's fair.
um, and it would say, um, let's see, how would it would go about these? I believe it would start by saying, uh, the city was utterly destroyed in a cataclysmic event approximately hundreds of years ago. There are no current residents that I know of, and I am uncertain who would have built the city. However, I suspect may have been someone called the Terran Mandate.
Mm.
Hmm. Can you say that again for my notes?
Yeah, sure. So it said that the city was destroyed in some cataclysmic event, some hundreds of years ago, approximately. It also said there are no current residents that it knows of, and doesn't know who built the city, but it thinks it could have been Terran Mandate.
Nero is watching this exchange with a little bit more interest than she usually shows in these kinds of high level conversations.
Is she getting ready to suggest recipes?
Recipes for slaughter, yes. That sounded cooler in my head.
Alrighty then. So it went ahead and answered those first few questions.
We got one more question in exchange for the how-to book.
I think Java got you 2 more questions.
It
Or
agreed.
did he get us up to 5?
Yeah, it agreed to 5. Yeah.
Let's go.
I am interested in the station.
Yeah, its response last time was fairly vague, something along the lines of, I don't know much about that.
Ah, okay, I didn't remember that. I thought it was more evasive than that.
Well, that could just be a lie.
What's the tower
Although
made
I guess.
of?
Also possible.
Do you ask what it's made of?
Yeah.
No, we burned questions on that.
I didn't ask it. Like I'm asking, not as Java. Avery is asking. Sorry.
Oh,
Clarify that. Let me clarify that.
Man, that'd be great. Java just pipes up with a question, and it's like, thrilled, like ready to answer some dumb question before Brother Nick jumps in to stop it.
Oh, I definitely
Uh,
have questions that Java would ask if you guys want that, but I don't think
that one is too good to pass up.
Oh, sorry, which question?
Do it, Avery. Do it.
Yeah, Avery's question.
Okay. Tower, what are you made of?
The tower hesitates for a moment and then asks Java, are you sure that is a question you want to ask? And it seems to be waiting to see if Brother Nick or Saoirse says anything, but um,
If you said that, then he would say, if you're asking me a question, this one's free.
that is not how this works. But nice try.
Brother
Do you
Nick
not
will look
have
at
you not
Java
learned of,
and
have you not learned of our customs?
No, but your customs are irrelevant here. Your customs have no power here.
Not according to our customs.
um,
Brother Nick
Yes.
will look at Java and say, everyone else has more questions. You have that one question.
it so it starts to go into an answer, and it gets fairly lengthy.
Does Brother Nick stop it?
I guess it's not going to hurt to know a detailed composition.
And unfortunately, as it starts going into the description, it starts interjecting alien words that you guys have not learned yet. Now, Brother Nick being hooked up um, during this is able to. He's kind of getting a translation of sorts as he goes, but it's it's straining his own vocabulary when it comes to material and mechanical terms, um, because basically he can gather that there are multiple things being mentioned that are not even known to modern science as far as he's aware. Um, but he can kind of piece together contextually that there are some sort of advanced metallic and plastic polymers and alloys and all kinds of nonsense. There's some other stuff that would probably bear some separate questions all on their own, just on how they're even made or synthesized. But it it then does mention a couple of materials that I believe Cade would recognize. At
Okay.
least he might recognize. Let me get a no check from Cade. That's not gonna cut it.
Which answer was this?
This was answering what the tower is made of.
Do you guys want me to burn my reroll on that?
Sounds like there might be some pre-techie stuff. I don't know if that's of use to us to know it, because it's not like the drone is gonna, or the tower's gonna let us dismantle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't I don't think we need to reroll that.
Okay. Then yeah, something rung a bell, but couldn't put his finger on it. So but Brother Nick and Cade between them can be taking notes. So yeah, it goes into a fairly uh detailed description, but yeah, a lot of those things are a little over your heads. And it finishes.
Okay, so we have one more question.
hmm
With that, Brother Nick will, anticipating a future problem, will turn to Nero and say, since Java got his own one question, I suppose it's only fair to give you one. Are there any pressing questions you have for the tower?
Um, she looks at Brother Nick and at Sir Shenkade. No, you do the smart things.
No other.
Yeah, let's see. Danielle,
Okay, so
any
we had a
questions you would want to ask?
No one's asking questions. Java's raising his hand.
So I think Brother Nick would risk asking questions about the tower itself.
If you're looking for out of character suggestions,
Yeah.
maybe it didn't seem to know much about the station, but I don't know. Maybe we can get it to tell us what history it does know of the station, or um, tell us if ask if there are any known threats to exploring the city.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so we'd ask that to the tower first, since we had city questions already.
Okay.
Say, we had intended to explore the city after meeting with you. Are there any dangers you know of that we might encounter while exploring through it?
Yes, there are.
Nero
And it turns to
perks up.
Saoirse. 5 questions. Thank you.
You have to tell us what the threats are.
I'm sorry, that wasn't the question. It it then makes a little buzzing kind of robotic laughing.
Nero does not look amused.
uh yes, the one remaining structure in the city has some sort of security system. There are robots of
Yes.
armed robots that guard the entrance.
Nero looks excitedly over at Saoirse.
They are powerful and hostile in our experience.
Our?
Yes.
Who else is with you?
I'm not sure that I should tell you too much about that. I could already be getting in a lot of trouble, but maybe you have something else you could offer me
If I sit
for
on the
that
chair, will
person.
you answer some questions for me?
Hmm, perhaps. I don't know what you know, what you will be able to teach me.
I know a lot of things.
I will answer some questions for you. That one, perhaps.
I have
And
other questions for me. Nera goes
very
over and
well.
is Java still sitting in her chair?
Absolutely.
um, if as she walks over, I don't know if there's another. I don't know if anyone else had actually sat down. I know Brother Nick did, um, but I gathered that at least one person might have remained standing. In which case, that chair would reconfigure slightly, and the nameplate would kind of unetch and then re-etch itself.
That's pretty.
Isn't it, though? I am quite proud of that. Take a seat and
Yeah,
ask away.
Nera's already sitting. Or she's already s- sitting as a verb, not as a adjective. I think. Noun.
Okay.
It is still a verb. She is in the act of sitting as he tells her to take a seat.
All right. Um. So yeah, the kind of little head piece comes up out of the headrest and rests around her temples from the back of her head, and feels that kind of strange sensation of it's. It kind of reminds her of telepathy, but it's definitely a different feeling, and just of the tower putting putting thoughts and answers directly into her mind.
I can't tell you how badly I want to tell you that Nero is so excited that she interrupts the narrator.
Nice.
But I won't. I'll let you finish.
No, it's okay. That's all I had.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
succeeded.
Pretty much as soon as these contacts are made, she's already asking her first question, and that is, um, where are cool weapon stashes in the city? And in her mind, if it is able to see images and all that, she
Mhm.
definitely means melee weapons.
Yeah. Uh, it answers her. That I do not know, though I suspect there must be something good inside or beneath that one building at the center. I have not extensively searched the city.
Hmm. Have you found entrances underground in the city?
I have not, but there could be.
Hmm. What do the robot ninjas look like?
um, so Nero gets a kind of a mental picture of the gets kind of a mental picture of the kind of these steps leading up to this large grand uh, building that it looks kind of and not antique, ancient architecture style, but she gets an image of large bipedal robots standing on one of these landings of the stairs. Um, they're they're slimmer than the models she's seen on Tabuk, much taller it seems like, and at least by a foot or two, and they're uh, they're standing with kind of outstretched hands and glowing red eyes.
Hmm.
They look to her like out of one of those uh, sci-fi futuristic kind of movies that she's seen that work to portray you know pre-tech, advanced sort of stuff,
Okay.
AI takeovers and all that.
She'll name off the movie that she thinks that they're from. See if anybody else in the room recognizes it.
I don't know what other movie buffs we might have on the crew.
It's more likely that Nero's seen like these robots in an advertisement in like a weapons catalog, like an advertisement for the movie.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't tend to watch too much TV or movies.
Okay. Well, it starts asking her some questions about her skills and the things she knows the most about, and seems to be, and it's asking these inside her head, um, kind of gauging what it can get out of her of use.
Well, it's gonna get a whole John Woo action scene. And she'll talk back to it in her head at first. Can't as a player remember if it needed things out loud or not.
No, it does not.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah, she'll just kind of uh give it a good old action montage, but interspersed with that, I think because it has been such a core part of her identity, um, are also the guerrilla tactics um, and farming. She doesn't have great in-depth knowledge of either, but she has that kind of rote memory of performing the actions of tilling the field and planting seeds and all that.
Hmm. Yeah, it uh, kind of fixates on the farming type stuff and asks her lots of questions about that. A lot of which get fairly technical, things that she very well may not know.
Unlikely. She was pretty much told what to do, and she
Mhm.
just did it.
Yeah. um, Yeah. Let's see. You'd asked. I'm trying to remember exactly what you had wanted to ask about
Oh, it
about the
actually already
Lee.
answered them.
Oh, okay.
It had responded to somebody, asking, are there threats as a yes or no question, and it answered yes, and she said that wasn't fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it showed her what those threats are.
Okay. Well, I know there's definitely some interest in going and visiting the city, both in and out of character.
Yes.
You've gotten a little taste of questions and answers from the tower. Is there anything else you guys want to do in the tower before you bid it adieu and head on in your search?
One last thing for Nero, but it can wait until more important things.
I
Would
don't
you-
know. Go ahead.
Danielle, are you talking?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Mm-mm.
Just barely.
I could hear that a
And
little
you
better.
speaking in alien tongues.
I think there was a question of if the tower was alone or there was someone else with it. But yeah, Ben, if you could recap that.
Yeah,
Sergio
that's
was.
that's what I was thinking that Nero had tried to ask, and
Oh.
it was like, well, I don't know. Let's like I probably shouldn't answer that, but maybe if you've got something good enough for me, I
Yeah.
could give you an answer.
She did ask that, and it did equivocate.
She gets the sense that it's definitely very interested in what she knows about farming. It's a little disappointed that uh, some of her vague or non-answers about very detailed stuff, but um, it seems like it's trying to pry about everything it can out of her head about farming.
Mm-hmm. She'll. Oh, Danielle. Is that a Danielle?
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah. She'll settle in for that. She's getting fidgety, and I'm sure the tower and her the tower is probably noticing that visually as well as in how her thoughts keep just kind of flitting to other things. But she'll try and humor it, as entertain it.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that keeps going well. So she'd probably pick up on the fact that it seems to be going well for her. This exchange with the robot. So if she wanted to interject at some point with her own question, she's definitely now answered much more than it had answered for her in their kind of one-on-one exchanging of info.
Yeah, to be honest, Nero's not really kind of looking at it as a back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Saoirse can interject.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this would go on for several minutes, um, with Nero answering You said she was answering some out loud.
Yeah, I think she would, especially the ones that she's a lot less certain of. She would
Mhm.
dither and kind of look around as she answers or mumbles a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So everybody else would be hearing Narrow kind of occasionally having a one-sided conversation, apparently answering farming questions to the tower. So I think it makes sense for Saoirse to cut in after a few minutes at least.
Yeah, Saoirse would say, "Right, is that enough for you to answer a question?"
The drone turns to Saoirse. The question and answer continues inside Narrow's head, um, but the drone turns to Saoirse and says, "Yes, she was surprisingly informative. Uh, I can answer a little bit about my master. My master, of course, is not presently here. I don't know when my master will return. She does not keep me informed of her schedule. But I doubt she would be at the city. She has had limited success visiting the city. She considers the guardians of the lone remaining building quite dangerous."
Yeah, that interrupts the question and answer about
Mhm.
farming. And Nera said she'll speak up unless Saoirse has a response.
Saoirse's lost in thought.
That's okay, because I'm pretty sure you can guess what Nero's interjection here is going to be.
Mhm.
Nero blurts out, "We can help."
The drone whips around to look at Nero. "You would like to help?"
I want to fight robot ninjas. Or regular robots.
"You seem very confident in your ability to fight robots and robot ninjas."
You've seen me fight robot ninjas.
Wh- so was this was like an imaginary scenario, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And there's no way that a sane or not sane, but that a educated and knowledgeable person would ever see what was playing in Nero's head and think, "Oh wow, that could have really happened."
Yeah. So the drone would say, "Yes, of course you have. I'm sure you will do very well. I'm not sure that my master would like help. My master does not like company either, which I'm sure you have already realized."
Nero's getting fidgety and her mind is wandering more and more from the agricultural lesson.
um, the drone will turn back to Saoirse and say, "I will tell you one more thing about my master because you have been very good guests. My master is aware of the other presence on this planet. I do not believe my master knows specifically about you, but it does know about the creatures that have been roaming the continent since then. I assume it looks over at Tom. I assume that Tom is one of them and part of their species, though he is different.
Did Tom have any inputs on the matter?
Tom had not um, Tom had not, though after the drone mentions him, um, he would with his telepathic link to everyone, he would let everyone know. Um, that's quite concerning that this tower's master knows of our colony, and though apparently has done nothing about it yet.
Cade will possibly perk up about the whole description of the master and will look at the drone and say, I don't think we care about your master's business, but is her name Ahriman?
The drone turns to Cade. Ahriman. I do not believe she goes by that name, though that could be one that she has used.
Cade will say, do you mind if I use the chair so you can get an idea who this Ahriman is?
Of course, dear. Cade, you may sit as well.
Cade will recline and he will briefly think about their encounter with Ahriman.
Okay.
And the sort of hooded, semi disguised appearance that they had seen.
Yeah.
And he will directly ask, is this familiar?
The after a brief pause, Drone will say, I don't believe my master has appeared that way before. Never in my presence.
Cade will feel slightly relieved. And he'll simply say, okay, that's good. We did not have a good impression of Ahriman.
She stole my sword.
Well, that is fair enough. Though I doubt that you would have a good impression of my master, either.
Oh no, Ethan. What did you do?
Oh, that picture. Do you not remember that from before?
Yeah, that was from Ahriman.
Oh, was
Picture,
it?
yeah, was
It
done
was.
when he described Arma.
That's what
Yeah.
that's what Ethan cooked up. I had posted something a little different. But
Yeah.
Wait, did we get an actual picture of Arma?
Yeah, we did.
I think you did. Yeah, I would have to See. Oh yeah, I don't know. I didn't apparently write that in
No.
the session chat. Um,
Which one
I'll have
is
to check again.
Arimon?
So Ahriman is one. That's another one from before your time.
Yeah.
Um, would you
Scary
guys like
person,
to?
actually.
Yeah, you guys fill him in. Actually, honestly, I guess you guys might want to do this in character since the name has been said aloud.
True.
Um,
Who is Arimon?
Arimon is some sort of weapons dealer and possible mob boss individual. We aren't sure if she, he, it has broad dealings in this sector, but they basically threatened to start a war over the sword that Nero found at the store and bought. Apparently, they didn't have a right to have. Aramon sent mercenaries, bounty hunters after us to get the sword back. They weren't cheap ones either.
Like Martine?
Mm,
Is he some big fancy noble guy?
I don't know.
Is he dead?
No.
But he took Nero's sword.
I gave it back.
Yes. It was stolen from them.
That's what she said.
Yes. Fair. She said it was stolen and it would have been a very difficult fight to keep it. Don't worry, Nero. We'll find you a wind cutter somewhere.
Maybe it's in the city.
Maybe that's what those sentry robots are guarding.
If I tell you what I know, computer, will you tell me if Nero gets a wind cutter?
Not a crystal ball, Java.
yeah, the drone replies, um, I would
Signs point to yes.
appreciate answers, Java, but unfortunately I cannot answer that question because I do not know.
We should go. Been here for hours.
He never even made coffee.
By the way, that is not. I am not establishing that we've been here for hours. That is Nero saying we've been here for hours.
Yeah, you guys have probably been there for 45 minutes to an hour. But yeah, the drone's like, "Oh, I'm very sorry about the coffee. I got busy answering and asking questions. But if you need to go, that is all right. I will leave the light on when my master is not home, and you can visit again. But do take care. I would like you to visit again and not be dead in the city. That would not be fun."
Would like to not be dead as well. Thank you for your hospitality and your well wishes.
You are very welcome.
Have you conveyed to your master any of our conversations?
Oh no, I would be in considerable trouble. I. Hmm. She has made severe threats to me in the past.
Why is she still your master?
Hmm.
Nero is getting up and moving towards the door.
um, she is my master. That is the way of it. Perhaps someday that would change, but for now she is my master. She is a good master. I do not think she would actually confine me to a cleaning bot. But it is all right. If she does not know, she cannot punish me.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Goodbye, everyone.
Sounds like
Is
we
he booting us out?
well, Nero's kind of shooing us.
Yeah, no, it's not ushering you out this time. It was
Hmm.
picking up on the cue that the crew was wanting to leave, both from Saoirse and Nero. So it bids you all goodbye and begins cleaning up the furniture and all the various equipment, uh, reforming into the walls and into the previously apparently standard layout of the room as you leave, and the doors shut behind you.
Okay.
So,
Go to the city and fight robot monsters.
all right, off to the city. Roll initiative. Now, so
Well, I
Kid.
guess that is the most promising plot hook next.
you guys can uneventfully make it back down the tunnel, cave to the waterfall, make it back down to the little meadow where you park the slingshot, and you can all load up and then make your way uphill, winding around on past the sinkhole beneath which is the tower, and on toward the city. Um, the Hello Neighbor, scouting on ahead, finds it much as it was before, desolate, uh, a vast sea of tiny rubble that has been alternately pulverized or melted or both. Um, and off in the near distance, at, at the apparent center of this city, you can make out the one structure dominating the flattened ruins, with its with the steps rising up to its entrance, the kind of outbuildings flanking these steps, and as you reach the edge of the city, um, riding in the slingshot still, I assume. Um, you can make your way over the rubble. It's pretty uneven and pretty unsteady terrain, but the slingshot is more than capable of navigating that. You can make out, you know, just a bit, I guess, what's it, a bit behind the city, just the kind of a couple little sections of canal on either side of the towering structure and some of the pillars that loom over the canal. But all of that you know, ends pretty abruptly beyond the back of the building. Um, all told, everything that remains standing is in more or less spherical, or I should say circular space,
Hmm.
and it seems evidently the canals and the pillars would have continued on at some point, and of course there would have been other buildings around, but there's none of that left. All ends abruptly.
In the destroyed area, is there cover
There really
for
is
either
not.
person or vehicle?
No, there's really nothing at all.
Wow.
There are a few places that are, I guess you'd say, are kind of low enough, or it's uneven enough in few places that a person could go prone and kind of, uh, you know, probably dig in just a little bit and kind of
Okay.
lay in kind of like a little shallow. I'm trying to think, kind of like how in a field there might be just a very shallow little dip that someone who's could lay down and hide in if
Sure.
they were so minded. But yeah, pretty much no. If there were somebody standing or uh, even sitting, you'd almost definitely see them even from a distance.
One other question. The rubble part of the city, like obviously we're driving across it. What are we driving on? Is it blasted dirt? Is it like pavement, stone?
It's like little blasted bits of building, basically.
Okay.
Um, seems like it's some of it is some kind of stone or concrete,
Like
or there are
building
pieces of
gravel?
metal in there. Yeah, basically building gravel. Like
Okay.
imagine you took a whole city, put it
Mm-hmm.
through a blender, and then you know dumped it around this building. You'd
Okay.
have nice,
Wow.
finely ground, yeah, building gravel.
Will this ancient
Building
pre-tech
gravel.
city blend?
The drone just really didn't want to try to explain the fact that once upon a time, a giant grabbed the city, stuck it in a blender, and then dumped it back out.
Wow. Oof.
um, so yeah, when the drone said cataclysmic event, it was not joking.
Okay. But I'm gathering there's a, tall central building, and a few other
Mhm.
standing buildings around it in sort of a circle.
Yeah, and the outbuildings, it basically, I mean, it's like pictured, which
Hmm.
I've gone ahead and pulled it onto the landing page for easier reference, but it's also in the session chat, um, where you can get a bigger bigger version of it. It basically looks like kind of outbuildings of that one structure at the center.
Okay. Hmm. And I assume it doesn't mean absolutely anything that all of the other stuff to the side across the river look like giant tombstones.
Oh, that'd be a very important question to determine, I guess.
I'm kidding. I imagine those are all pulverized.
No, so those pillars in the picture, there are a few of those.
Oh.
In the picture, it stretches on into the distance beyond, but what I was trying to describe is there is some of that that's just out, um, just outside of this immediate area, but that all kind of ends abruptly. It seems like, yeah, it would have. You can kind of envision this canal and maybe bridge or whatever else over it, but
Oh.
none of the beyond this little circle in the center that includes this building and some of these pillars, everything just ends abruptly.
Hmm. Okay. Well, Robert, do you want to do some scouting with a drone?
Yeah, I suppose Cade will send Hello Neighbor on ahead and do some surveying.
So yeah, the Hello Neighbor is, how you're getting a lot of this description and images already from, a very nice high altitude. Um, do you want to send it closer for something else? Is there something more specific you want to know about the building or its surroundings?
Well, out of character, what do you guys think? Like,
I I think poke the beast. I mean, it might not be the greatest idea, and somebody tell me if it's terrible, but getting a drone zooming in close enough that we can see if robots come out and like disintegrate it, or if they fire plasma beams at it, because those are two different levels of destruction.
oh, well, Cade's not going to send Hello Neighbor for that one. He'll
Yeah,
fire
no.
up the dragon for that.
And maybe we don't want to do that, because of course, that risks revealing that that risks waking something up. What would we rather do? Risk waking something up, or risk
Finding out
encountering
about
something personally that?
disintegration beam.
Hmm?
Oh, say or risk finding out about disintegration beams with our bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of actually leaning more towards the not waking things up, but how cautious do we want to be here?
Uh, I'm kind of okay with going ahead and like poking the bear, but I don't know.
Poking the bear with a drone or body?
Oh, with the drone,
Okay.
not absolutely not with the body.
Danielle, do you want to have Saoirse?
Do you want me to bioscan it, or are you asking if
Mm,
I too want to poke?
yeah, more just opinion.
No, I think Saoirse's observing mostly, and she might bioscan if that were an option.
Uh, I think I missed some of what you said there.
Sorry, I've been really frustrated with how poor my audio is, so I haven't been as involved in this session.
Understandable. A frustrating problem.
You were saying you would use your bioscanner in what capacity? Okay. Never mind to the bioscanner. She's saying.
Okay. See
Sorry,
you.
your audio's so bad.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
I suppose going closer and using the combat drone to just use its basic visual sensors and such, targeting sensors, to see how things look is a good idea.
It is
Okay.
a good idea. It's cautious approach.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. So the dragon is that its name, or is it the something dragon?
It's Angry Dragon, yeah.
Angry dragon, right?
Yeah.
Suppose we'll be going on ahead to scope out the
Yeah. To scope out the thingamajiggy.
righty then. Let me get my
Oh,
thing ready here.
Yes, we can hear
Hey
you.
there.
okay. I got off my phone earlier because it just DC'd randomly, so I was back on
Ah,
my laptop, but now I'm back on my phone.
gotcha.
Hey,
Sorry for all the tech problems tonight. I just wanted to clarify. Cade was, or sorry, Robert, you were talking about a body? What body were you talking about? Because
Oh,
I'm
Oh.
our own
I'm really
bodies.
confused. Okay,
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
so confused. I was like, what? Where is there a
Yeah, if it
body? And I'm
cut in the middle
thinking,
of the sentence. Yeah.
Basically, we were
it's
talking
okay.
about whether we send Cade's drone and potentially wake up these guardians, or we just kind of go there ourselves and risk them having some kind of disintegrate ray, which we would learn with the drone. Do we let them disintegrate the drone or our bodies?
Okay,
good
that makes way more sense. I was so confused, and I was like, where did a body come from? We are the bodies. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Saoirse, how much time do they have left in the day, honestly?
Let's see how much more time in the day.
Yeah.
Uh, definitely got quite a few hours of daylight left. This is still only relatively early afternoon.
Okay. So if Saoirse thinks they have enough time, she would want to just save time and go there themselves.
Sure. I still suggest sending the drone ahead first, so at least we have a chance to run if it gets shot.
Saoirse rolls her eyes but agrees.
All right, so sounds like we are agreed that the angry dragon is going on a little bit ahead. And you guys are driving up. Um, how far away do you want to park the slingshot, or do you not just? You could honestly probably drive it up the stairs if you really wanted to.
Drive it up the stairs.
Yeah.
Save time. Radiation.
True. Okie
Does
Then
this slingshot have running boards where like people could be hanging off on the side so that they can dismount easy?
Because Nero totally wants to do that if it can.
Nero totally wants to do that, yes.
so sort of. Yeah. I mean, she could definitely hang on to the side of it. If that's what she wants to do.
Yeah, as long as it's reasonably well designed for her. If she's gonna have to be like basically doing a pull up the entire way, then that's not really a. She recognizes that's not a good expenditure of energy.
No, I mean, yeah, she can put her feet on the little running boards on the sides of
Okay.
the vehicle and hang on to the roll cage.
Yeah, then she's gonna go ahead and do that.
Alrighty then. So, about how far ahead of you do you want the angry dragon?
I love that
Unless
Oh,
you
name.
guys are
probably
wanting to.
about 300 yards, 500 yards,
Okay,
maybe
so
a little further.
quite a distance. You want it to show up well uh, before you arrive yourselves. It's not like you want to be
Yes.
close enough to intervene. You want to see what happens when it shows up. All right.
Yeah, close enough that I can see it get shot. Far enough away that if it gets shot, we have plenty of time to just nope out of there.
Alrighty
The
then.
further away it gets from them, Saoirse's gonna look over her shoulder at Cade,
What?
an accusatory glare.
What?
She just turns back around and looks at the road.
I'd rather the drone get shot.
Ooh. Saoirse will not comment. She's trying not to bicker.
Oh, I see.
All right. So, we've got the angry dragon flies in, hovering maybe around a little bit at head height or so, and approaches up the steps towards the entrance of the building. And as it ascends the first kind of tier of the steps and hits a landing, Cade watching on the feed hears a kind of an alerting sound, kind of an alarm, and there's a warning plays in somewhat, well, in archaic Mandate. It's close enough that it's understandable, but it's just a little bit slightly different dialect than is used in modern days. And the message says, unauthorized entry. Please stop and wait to be received.
Hmm.
And the drone would pick up on its regular little sensors from a couple of those outbuildings. Um, the fronts of them would slide open, and pretty pretty much fast walking, like quickly stepping out, would be several of these. Let me put these in session chat. Um, they would march out. There would be 6 of them that file out, 3 from each side, and arrange themselves across uh, the next landing up. And one of them projects the warning, halt. Identify yourself. And the angry dragon's sensors would be able to measure that these things stand about 8 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah. So, if anyone remembers back to when Nero asked about the threats, and there was a point when she was sitting on that chair and she got all excited. This is what she saw. This is what she was shown.
Well, Cade will just look at the group and say, "I don't know what to say, guys."
Do you want me to drive into him?
Probably a bad idea.
Uh, as a few seconds go by, their challenge going unanswered, um, they would all extend their arms in kind of a warding gesture, palms out, and one of the 2 in the center would again say, I repeat, identify yourself or leave.
Say something to him.
Is Cade aware of any sort of like old prospector legislation, maybe? Um, is like a long term, like we've even got sort of legislations for that now.
Okay, I see
Is
what you're saying. Like
yeah,
basically,
like would the Terran Mandate have like scavenging / prospecting salvage rights? Salvage rights. That's what I'm thinking of.
yeah, like
Is
statutes
there
in place for, hey, we're coming to lay claim to this abandoned place or tech or whatever under salvage rights. Give me an administer check from Cade.
sure administrand?
Yeah. That's a partial success.
I kind of feel like rerolling this one. See if we can do a little better. Yes.
Hey.
Yeah, that's a full success. So he would know from the little bit of uh, Terran Mandate law that he would have had been required to study in school by the school that his parents put him in. He would remember generally that there were salvage rights, um, that the mandate had a regulation for everything under the sun. Some of them better enforced than others, and he would he would also happen to remember more specifically that invoking those statutes would require the the location or the objects in question to be uh, not only uh, basically would be require them to be like uninhabited or unclaimed, and would have included virtual intelligence as basically a potential holder of uh, possession or whatever. So, for example, if someone left a mining outpost run by artificial intelligence or you know automated robots or whatever, that would still be considered the someone's properties. You couldn't lay claim to that just because it was
So long as it operated.
right. So long as it operated and was apparently um, I don't know if curated is the right term, but like apparently under the supervision of some virtual intelligence, then yeah, you couldn't lay those kinds of claims.
Well, even knowing that, I think Cade's gonna use that knowledge and broadcast from the drone and say by um uh basically reference the piece of code saying something like um we lay claim by salvage rights under section like article blah 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 to this facility as having been abandoned for in excess of 200 years.
Okay. Um,
He's assuming that these are just defensive robots, not VIs.
so the
Well, they might react to it worse than VIs.
I
oh
mean,
man, like
theoretically,
But that's good news for
but
us. If they just react as a threat, then we know that we don't have to worry about them. We can just kill them.
Yeah,
Nice.
then you beat them up.
and if there is a VI, then it's going to
Nice one,
talk
take the
back and say, "Hey, no, you can't take this."
Yeah, this is
Mhm.
this is a
that
litmus test.
what is it
Yeah.
on exception handling for the robots?
So the robot that had been announcing the challenge lowers its hand, though the others remain raised, and it says, "Who are you to invoke that clause?"
Descendants of the Terran Mandate residing in this sector.
Mm, That's suitably vague.
Does it say
Your
that?
claim is denied. Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. VI. It's sassiness. VI.
Yep.
um,
I
I
take it
will
you don't
require.
wish
Oh,
to discuss them.
I will require further proof of your claim on this.
Cade would think about it for a moment and say, what about possession of Terran Mandate experimental nanotech? Would that prove descendancy?
Hmm. It remains silent for a moment, and then responds. Describe this experimental nanotech. Unclear.
Would Cade be aware of the Terran Mandate name of Tabuk or like planetary designation?
Yeah, he would know it. Like Tabuk is actually it's the same designation the system had from before the Scream. They intentionally retained that.
I guess Cade would counter that slightly by saying, will you at least guarantee safety to discuss in closer person instead of via drone?
Yes, face-to-face conference would be preferred. Be advised that weapons would be discouraged.
Cade will set his weapons, which honestly aren't many, on the ATV and walk up to the combat robot. And he will actually switch temporarily to using the suit speakers instead of the comms.
Okay.
And so then he's going to say, I am in possession of experimental nanotech produced on Tabuk.
So
And he will trigger his what the Tabukans use to indicate their nobility, that implant that highlights the tattoo basically of nobility in his house.
Okay.
And as
Let's
it glows,
see,
he
so-
said it's not simply emissive, but was an experimental multifunctional implant.
So, just to back up slightly here, so
Mm.
the slingshot has driven, at least up to the base of the steps, close enough for Cade to get out and go up. Nero and Saoirse both wanted to accompany him.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else want to accompany him? Does everybody just want to go ahead and follow along?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do dangerous stuff together.
Is somebody telling Nero to strip off her swords and batons?
Absolutely.
They're not weapons.
Yes, they are, Nero.
They're not guns.
Then Cade would confirm with the drone. One of our members prefers swords. Is that okay for them to bring and leave firearms behind?
The robot would immediately respond. Weapons should not be brought to this discussion.
And Cade
You
will
will-
replay that right back at Nero, saying, Nero, it said no.
If
But-
Nero hesitates, Saoirse will look at her and go, Nero, you'll
Nah,
come
she's-
back for him.
She's taking them off. She does have a scowl. Why do we have to take off our weapons everywhere there's going to be a fight? as she's taking off her weapons.
Nero, each one of these is armed with the equivalent of a wind cutter or worse, I think. So I don't think we could win.
That's not how the battle went in Nero's mind.
Of course not. Of course not. In Nero's mind, we kicked butt and we won. But
And only all your battles could take place in Nero's mind. Make this game a lot easier. um, Tom seems unsure if he should be coming along with a lot of you. He goes ahead and asks, or if you should wait in the car.
I think he could approach, and we would simply have to explain one of our members is non-human, just in case.
Yeah, if Cade gives it that warning, it doesn't seem it does not seem phased by that. Says,
Okay.
you know, you may bring whatever accompaniment you require as long as they are unarmed.
So Cade will just wave Tom on to come with him.
All right. Tom tags along. So the troop marches up the steps, and as you approach closer to the row of automated guardians towering above the steps, because they're kind of at the front of the landing there. So there's not exactly room to get up on the landing with them. The lead, the apparent lead bot fixes its gaze on Nero and says in a clear projecting voice, I suppose that technically qualifies, as long as you keep those to
TL5
yourself.
scanners.
I can't take my
And,
arms off.
That is fair enough. And then it turns back to Cade. And yeah, so he goes forward then with the starts to go with the explanation. So his tattoo is where is it's on his forearm? Is that where we had decided?
I'm trying to remember if we did decide where it was.
We may not have decided.
I had a visual of it being on his neck for some reason.
Yeah, I thought it was neck or possibly face, but he had control over
yeah,
Oh,
if it was
yeah.
visible or not.
Yeah, he could basically make it appear or not and glow.
I think he did have it go up onto his face. It was like a neck face tattoo.
Yeah.
So does he want to is he gonna like take off his helmet to or like open
No, I
his
think it
eye?
would radiate from inside the helmet.
Okay. So basically just let him see through the visor.
Yes.
Okay. So he turns it on and has it start to glow.
Yeah, as a simple I do have it kind of authentication.
Okay. So he turns it on and then starts to go into his somewhat wordy explanation about experimental tech and projects started on Tabuk and whatever. But almost immediately after he turns it on, the all of the guardians that are lined up, they turn towards Cade. Their arms come down, and they all take a couple steps to the side making space in between them. And the leader responds, "Identity confirmed, Stara. Please join us."
They're
And
just gonna just go.
Um,
Oh,
interesting. So Cade will nod and say, maybe we can continue our conversation inside?
of course, we have many questions, as I'm sure you will also have.
Yes. We have many questions. So I guess then Cade leads the way into this facility.
All right, so as you all follow Cade up the remaining steps, um, the guardians follow, kind of flanking the group of you, and at the top of the stairs, there's a bit of a small courtyard, um, and a large entrance to the building, and the towering double doors um, slide open silently, and the interior, the brightly lit interior, spills light out onto the courtyard, and as he the leader kind of flanking at the side of Cade says, "I must apologize in advance for the state of the interior. We have maintained our station. We have not changed anything about the interior, so you may not find it pleasing."
I will find it pleasing if the radiation is nominal rather than as dangerous as out here.
Of
Is it
course,
safe inside?
the interior is shielded and suitable for human habitation.
before guests, can we have our weapons back?
It looks over at Narrow, um, and watches her for a moment while they walk,
I'm his
and then
bodyguard.
it says, "Kadir Methodius Breckenridge is safe for now. After we meet, then perhaps you may go and retrieve your weapons."
Nero keeps a wary eye open.
All right.
It probably scanned it from the tattoo. Sorry to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Suddenly, Cade's compad starts ringing.
How dare you see other mods? Baby.
Baby, come back.
Oh no!
Uh, oh boy. Nope, no
Oh,
combat
dear.
ringing just yet.
Okay.
Let's see then. So, yeah, as you all walk in and you enter the building, um, you you enter it. It seems like the majority of this entry hall um, it's is a pretty small portion of the actual building space. Um, it is uh, it has not been doesn't seem like it has been cleaned in a very long time. There's thick dust coating everything. Um, as as power comes on, um, the lighting is even
Mm.
kind of just a little. It's like a little bit. What's the word? Like slightly fuzzy because like even the lights are covered thickly in dust. They're very bright and you
Yeah.
can shine through it, but there's kind of that slightly hazy feel to the lighting. Um, but the floor, the 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 path leading straight into the building is a bit lit up as well, and apparently not a soul in sight. Um, but this entry hall seems to have kind of some seating, almost like reception waiting area type seating, um, and a somewhat smaller but still pretty grand entrance leading further into the building that the entrance lights up and as as you all start passing through when as the guardians pass through it, it buzzes kind of angrily. The doorway flashes kind of a brief red light,
Hmm.
and it does so also when Nara walks through. But
Ah,
the lead the lead robot says, "Please disregard the security scanner.
how can it find my weapons?
It is a security scanner."
None of the other security scanners can find my weapons.
Well, I assure you, our security here is top of the line. I'm not sure what primitive security scanners you may have encountered before. We use only the best here at the Mandate headquarters. And
Oh. Did it say
and
mandate headquarters? Was that it saying that, or was that Ben?
that was it saying it. Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
look
I
what we
think we just found
found.
the sector headquarters to the mandate.
All right.
Cade the
And
king.
so let's see. As you as you go through the security scanner, you now open into uh what seems like the majority of the rest of the building. It's a massive chamber, vaulted ceiling that extends up uh basically high enough you can't it's not really well lit at the top. You can't even quite make out the ceiling. Um but there is the walls surrounding this chamber are uh, covered in what looks like sort of it's a slightly reflective material that as you enter you notice little blips here and there, little places look like they're coming to life. um, Looks like maybe various screens or displays of some kind. Looks like basically the entire walls are all screen. Um, and it looks like it, in the past you might have compared it to like the NASA control center where there are desks and screens and chairs, and there's a whole, almost like a theater that's filled. But the place has seen some pretty bad days. Um, a lot of the tables or desks, the chairs, look like they have been smashed in half or in pieces. In a couple places, they look similar to the rubble outside, just pulverized.
Hmm.
Um, there are parts of the walls that are where that material, the screen kind of material, is cracked, and there's kind of a faint shimmering around the cracks where the screens are distorted a little as they're trying to activate. And through the center of the room, though, there's a clear path that elevates a bit at a time, and at the far end of the room, uh, up, sitting up above everything else, and with a kind of a commanding view of the entire room, sits what could really only be described as a throne that is lit up just just softly enough to be immediately visible from everywhere in the room. And it's kind of it uh, fractures and refracts the light, um, but obscuring it somewhat is what you can even clearly see from from the distance is the desiccated husk of a person
Hmm.
that is seated in that throne, uh, arms on the rests, and sitting straight up, but very well and thoroughly deceased. And on that note, I think we need to end our session for tonight.
Yep, cliffhanger for sure.
Hmm. So yeah, we'll just end on everyone taking in the sight of this command room and the guard robots here, uh, indicating that this this is this is a good place to have a private conversation and sort out your claim and whatever other questions you have, which we will pick up with next time. So for tonight, go ahead. And we'll get into faves here. All right, let's see. I believe we're starting with Ethan this time. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I was starting to wonder because like everybody's being awfully quiet. Didn't mean to shock you all into silence that much.
We're all just very disappointed that there's no fight with the robots.
Yeah, I knew you were disappointed in that. I mean, hey, we would have had to squeeze that in at the end of this session, but next time there's plenty of time. There's a whole session where you could have a fight with the robots.
Hey, it's Robert's fault. Cade said to Nero that they all have wind cutters.
He wasn't saying that in the try to get them away. He's saying that in the.
Yeah,
How
that'll
are you
teach him
gonna
to be more
fight-
careful with his words.
Yeah, I know. She's so concrete.
All right, so Ethan, you are up first for faves.
Oh boy, there's a lot that we gotta unpack this session.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it might be kind of abrupt. If we need a minute or so, we can take a moment to catch our breaths.
Guess I'll just leave it at the cliffhangers. We got Tower with a mysterious master. Spooky giant robots working for the mandate. Oh yeah, and that master person knowing about the Ligakari,
Yeah.
and none of their motives elaborated on.
Yeah, when you put it that way, there's I'd say there are multiple cliffhangers there. Robert.
I probably would have to say Cade's massive success over the just improv moonshot attempt I made. I was like, here's a long shot, let's just go. I was not expecting that.
Good. Let's see. You said moonshot attempt. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just grinning like cat got the canary when you were like, well, okay, and you started the I felt like you were going in that direction. Perfect.
Yep.
I was hoping that would be the case. It also would have been very fun and interesting if everybody just went charging in head first and had a bit of a fight. Could have been cool, but I'm cool with this too. We'll have to find out what these robots can do on another day. Avery brings us to you.
I'm gonna give it to. I guess I have two. I'm gonna give it to
Okay.
Brother Nick first, asking, "Were you raised in a barn?"
Is your second one Java's response? I don't know.
No, no, it's not that cliche. So Java sat down first in the chair, and I kind of posed this as a question to Ben. Didn't really bring it up in the session, but I imagine that the computer would have asked Java questions, and I mean, just judging by the way things went, it probably failed to get any knowledge of note from Java after he sat down. So that's fun little mental image of like a completely failed conversation with his AI. Is it canon? We may never know.
It's canon
Yeah, I
now.
was gonna say canon takes place in many places, not exclusively on the air, so to speak. All right. Yeah, I enjoyed that too. And I'll just as a quick side note, I'll kind of piggyback off of that it's very helpful sometimes for people to send little private messages on the side to ask questions like that because with 5 players, yeah, 5 players, um, there's a lot that could be going on at any given time, um, especially when you've got NPCs tagging along and then whatever thing you're interacting with, and we're rarely going to be able to cover all that verbally every session. So it's nice to sometimes get a little bit of sidebar role playing in the chat and sometimes get some little questions on the side like, hey, I didn't want to derail the conversation that was going on right now, but I did want to make sure that I knew what's going on with Java and the tower robot, while he's sitting in the chair. So that's very cool and very helpful. Um, for my favorite, um, I I think my favorite is kind of twofold, but it's all in the same thing. It's simultaneously like the recipe. Let's see. I'll call it the cookbook um negotiation, but also Saoirse steering the conversation because I love the fact that you guys you come in guns blazing with a cookbook in hand and asking it to make coffee and trying to help it figure out how to make various things and then also but then like bartering with it for information, offering, hey, we'll give you and for Danielle to be like, or for Saoirse to be like, yeah, we'll give you, we'll bring you this really big, cookbook next time if you answer some questions. And then just that whole back and forth and the trying to carefully choose and word questions to ask this thing. I enjoyed that a lot. So thanks, guys. Danielle, brings us to you.
Sorry. Well, my audio issues made it a little hard to be involved, but I did like actually getting to go into the city. Cade using his tattoo for us to get access was really neat. So that's my fave.
Okay.
Mine are completely self-serving. I enjoyed that Nero got to deliver, not particularly in depth, but got to give the tower agricultural knowledge.
That was pretty good.
I had an idea that would actually be of great interest to it, but obviously I wasn't sure, and I knew that Nero wanted to ask about weapons, so I'm like, all right. I also liked that as a second fave in the same vein. I liked that Nero's take on that was a lot less transactional and that Saoirse was able to transact through that.
Yeah. The trying to think how to word that.
Good luck. I ain't gonna help.
Lack of transactionalness. I think I like that. Now let's see. Narrows.
I hate that
Narrows
word.
lack of. Yeah.
I hate it so much.
I figured you would know. Let's workshop this. Let's see. So, let's see. Let's say Saoirse, um, extracting information in spite of Narrows.
How about
Mm,
non-transactional? Non-transactional
non-transactional.
interaction.
Yeah, interaction works.
Transactionalness. Oh.
The audacity of this GM. Yeah, I feel like it's almost. It felt very much in her nature to just not be concerned about, you know, squeezing out every last bit of, benefit
Mhm.
per, piece of information she got. So I would almost say her non-transactional nature.
Yeah,
Um,
that works too.
that I felt like that it was neat to see that aspect of her character come out in that whole situation because she didn't care about, oh no, I gave too much information. Now it's gotten the hand up on me. She's just sharing, you know, information that she knows and it apparently finds interesting, and she knows it'll give her some information back, and that's good enough.
She was
Um,
having a conversation.
yeah,
Parts of it, conversation she didn't want to have, but
yeah. She's like, hey, if I've got to answer some of these, you know, dumb questions about farming just to get to know what I want to know, then yeah, fair enough.
all right, ready to post it.
Um,
Any changes needed to it?
I believe we're good. Unless anyone has uh, a correction for my attempted summarization.
I liked non-transactionalness.
uh, Me too, but I had a feeling Dex would not, which is part of why I typed it and then just sent it.
It
But
it wasn't
I just
non-transactionalness. That's not as bad. It was transactionallessness or transactionalness
A
less.
transactional.
That would be better.
yeah, I think I did say I thought I said non-transactionalness, but maybe not. It might have been transactional
No, you did say
transactionalness,
non-transactionalness.
but regardless, I by all means defer to the one issuing the favorite in that case to to tweak the wording and make it more appealing to himself since it represents his thoughts.
Or to tweak the GM. What?
uh, yeah, so I think it's good. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the session tonight. Yeah, I need to figure out. Maybe we might need to sit down and sort out what's going on with the laptop audio because yeah, for some reason it doesn't work with with her headset right now. Okay, hold on a second. There's not a message history thing for each message, is there?
No, but we can go ahead and I'll go ahead and end the stream because I said it fairly shortly after you typed it.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah, then we can play it back and find
Okay,
out for sure.
bye bye. We have to
Bye, everyone.
summon a terrible word.